Hello, my amazing fifth grade artists. Today we are going to be focusing in on the element of art line, and we're going to use that line to create a self-portrait. I know what you might be thinking, Miss Anderson, we just did a self-portrait in our first day of art project. Well, that is true, but we didn't do one like this. These self-portraits are going to be our funky hair day self-portraits. We are going to start with the basics of how to draw our face. We're going to take a little bit more time on this than we did in our first day of school project. Then we're going to break up our hair into a funky hairstyle and fill in each of those areas with different lines. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you were with me last year, it's kind of similar to the Untitled project that we did, but I'm excited about it. I hope you are too. And I can't wait to see what you'll create. Alrighty, to start a self-portrait, it's a good idea to have a picture of yourself up, either to have a mirror in front of you or to have a picture that you've taken. I like to start with a basic circle or oval because that's roughly what my head looks like. Because we're going to be doing some funky hair, I might make my head a little bit smaller in relation to the paper. Next, I drop down a straight line roughly on each side of the oval. And then I add a kind of curved diagonal line out to either side of the paper for my shoulders. I'm going to add a curved line to show that I'm wearing a shirt. Once I've got an oval that I feel pretty good about, I'm going to draw a straight line roughly down the middle from side to side and roughly down the middle from top to bottom. This is going to be a guideline that's going to help me place my face features where they're supposed to be. Starting at that intersection, I'm going to start thinking about my nose. I'm going to do a slight curved line to each side to describe the bridge of my nose. Then I'm going to do kind of a V shape a little bit below that to be the corners of my nostrils. Then I'm going to do a V shape inside that's kind of curved to be the inner part of my nostrils. I like to do a broken circle at the top for the point of my nose. If your nose looks different, think about the shapes and the lines that you see that would describe your nose. Next, I'm going to put an upside down U below that to be that kind of spot right below your nose and above my lips. I'm going to draw my lips, but I'm going to wait to draw the size of my lips until I've put my eyes in the equation. The corner of my eyes starts about lined up with my nostrils, and my head should be about 5 eyes wide. I like to start with a curved line for the top of my eye and a curved line for the bottom of my eye that comes to a point as it faces my nose. I like to stack two kind of in between ovals and circles on the inside to draw my iris and my pupil. And because we're fairly symmetrical, I need to put an eye on the other side. If you make a mistake in pencil, you can erase it, which is why I recommend that you start in pencil. So curved line coming to a point near my nose, curved line coming to a point near my nose, stacking two ovals on the inside for my iris and my pupil. Can make them a little smaller if it seems like my eye is too big, because we are fairly symmetrical. Now from the middle of my eye, that's where I'm going to drop a line down on each side, because that's about where my mouth is going to go to. I like to draw a kind of flattened letter M for my upper lip with a curved line that comes to a point in the middle for where that upper lip stops, and then a curved line for my bottom lip. I sort of have dimples, so I'm going to do kind of two curved lines on each side of my mouth. I can add in some little curved lines for some eyelashes. Above my eyes, kind of mimicking their curve, is where my eyebrows are. Our eyebrows sit on what's called the orbital ridge, which is our eye socket in our skull. It's kind of a hard, bony structure when you feel your face. All right, now my ears start at the line where my eyes are and go down to about where my nose is. I like to draw them with just a curved line. Now here is where things get fun and funky. We are going to start thinking about our funky hair. So you might want to start with a hairline similar to the one that you have. So maybe that's kind of straight across, maybe it's parted off to one side, maybe it's parted in the middle. You can decide. I tend to have mine off to one side. So I'm going to do kind of a swooping curve line off to the side and a swooping curve line to meet. And at this point, I'm going to trace the base structure that I have here with a Sharpie. Before I do any Sharpie tracing, I'm going to stick my blotting sheet underneath so that none of that Sharpie goes on my table. Alrighty, and before I get too much further, I'm going to come in with my eraser and I'm going to clean up the pencil lines that I don't need. Alright, now it's time to get funky. For getting funky, you're going to pick a line and make a chunk of hair. So maybe I drop down a curly Q line and kind of echo it and bring it up to the top of my head to make a chunk of hair. Maybe on this side, I bring down kind of a zigzag line and bring it up to make a chunk of hair. I could add a triangle shape. I could add a bumpy line. Add as many sections as floats your boat. I would like you to at least have 5, but you could certainly go above and beyond and have more than 5. Once you have those sections drawn, you are going to outline them with the Sharpie. Remember to have a sheet of paper underneath so that it doesn't soak through to the table. And then in each of the sections that we've just created, we are going to repeat some more lines. I'd like you to pick a different line to repeat in each section. Once you have done, traced all of your lines with Sharpie, added in lines inside each of your sections, I would like you to come in and fill in your face and your shirt with color. In addition to coloring in those areas, I would like you to think about value. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color or hue, and when we add value, when we add maybe some shading in areas where things are a little bit darker, we can make our faces, even though it's a drawing, look a little 3D. So for instance, as I come in here to color my face, I'm using apricot to match the color of my skin. You might need to use a different color to match your unique color. I'm going to press a little bit harder with my crayon and I'm going to layer it a couple of times to create the shadow for the side of my face. I think about the direction that I color and I want to try to make my marks nice and even. This helps give a smooth complexion and helps my face to look a little bit more realistic and have a higher level of craftsmanship, which is the skill to which we use our tools. Post it to Seesaw when you are done.